doing presentations. It doesn't matter whether we're doing them for academic reasons, for marketing, sales, or just simply passing information to a room full of people. Or we're making a speech in front of 400 or 500 people. It doesn't matter. We need to have a considerable amount of information at our fingertips. Now, experts. I don't believe there is any such thing as an expert. An expert is supposed to be someone who is knowledgeable beyond the understanding of most people that have knowledge in that particular subject or area that you're talking about. But for myself, I believe that an expert is just a drip under pressure. Okay, and you can never know everything it is. You can never know everything about what it is that you're speaking about at the time. Why? Basically because things change. Information is updated, and scenarios change. All right. You may be speaking to subordinates at one time, and of course the information that you pass to them will be different if you were speaking to your superiors, or you were in a boardroom scenario and you were doing a presentation on something new or something that you need to change. Okay, so as I was saying before, you can never have everything that you're talking about in your head. So you need to make sure that you take that information with you always. And much better if you can, write a very comprehensive workbook. Now, I've done so with this particular presentation. And I'm hoping that you're following me inside that workbook that I have written. Okay. You can also, if there's suddenly a change in some of the information that you're passing on to people, or more information comes to light about what it is that you're talking about. And doesn't that always happen? I actually find it quite annoying, basically because someone will come and say, oh, have you noticed this? And of course, as a good presenter and as a good speaker, you must make sure that you follow up on these, because information is prevalent when passing information to participants. You don't want them saying, oh, but he forgot to say something about this, or this wasn't part of the presentation, or he never gave us this updated information. So make sure that if the case is that it's not in your comprehensive workbook, that you hand out handouts. Or you can make sure that the information can be easily found. Even better, if you can, keep facts and figures in your head. Now, short-term memory and long-term memory. What's the difference between these two? Short-term memory is, of course, those things that are just new to you right now. Things that you're seeing, things that you're hearing, things that you're feeling, information that is coming to you from the outside world, outside your body, of course. And you will use your senses to draw that information in. You will then store that information in your short-term memory until you're able to log it into long-term memory. And how do you do that? You do that by repetition. You can do it by using more than one sense at the time. Now, some information can come in directly to your long-term memory because you've used tactile sensory perception. That means that you've used your hands to touch it. You've felt it. You've spoken or said the name of it over and over again inside your mind. You've also been able to speak about it to other people. So because all this has happened, that short-term memory has transferred or translated into a long-term memory. Short-term memory is great because new information that has come to light, you can use that, of course, to transmit that, of course, to your participants. Now, you can do that, as I said, either by holding it in short-term memory or putting it in a handout and giving it to them, and making your participants aware that this information is available. All right. Please remember, when you're keeping facts and figures in your head, make sure that they are important to the project at the time, to the presentation. If you're giving information and it has nothing to do with what you're talking about at the time, it becomes superfluous. It becomes useless information. All right? And it can distract your participants from what it is that you're trying to get them to understand. So do be very, very careful. Okay. There are, of course, other parts that are very, very important. And of course, best scenario ever is to never work on a presentation alone. Okay? That's always the best scenario. If you're able to work with a team of people that you need people that can gather information for you, of course, people who would read the presentation after you've created it. Okay? Why is that for? So that the flow is even. All right? And the information makes sense from one step to another, from one slide to the next slide. Also, you need someone who can proofread. Now, proofreading is making sure that you don't make the simplest of mistakes, the wrong preposition, the wrong tense, or simply making typos. Now, we all do them. In an actual fact, I've done them myself. I've put, when I've said T-O, I put O-T, or in, I put N-I. It's merely because the hands are moving faster, all right, than your eyes. That's all it is. You just need to slow down and make sure that you go through what it is that you've written. The information that's on the slides, the information that's in your handbook. Make sure someone's there that can read it for you. Make sure that you understand what prepositions you need to use. And my favorites are 3 and 3 only. And they are in, on, and at. And I use in, on, and at to build most of the information. There are others, of course, as you know, besides, into. Be very, very careful with in and into. They are different. All right. But my favorites, as I said, are in, on, at. I'm in the universe, on the planet Earth, at Kuala Lumpur, or at KLCC. I'm in Malaysia, on my way to the railway station, at Kuala Lumpur. I can use these 3 to build from large to small in passing information on. They are my 3 favorite ones. The other area that often is where mistakes are made are, of course, tenses. We know what the tenses are, don't we? Past, present, and future. English is one of, not just, but one of the languages that uses the past, the present, and the future to dictate how a sentence is structured. And in actual fact, the English language can get quite complex when it comes to the tenses. So you need to be very, very careful how you put all of that information together. And we can talk about that as well later on, but right now let's talk about presentations and being in the zone when you make a presentation.